So you guys came by our suite at Comic-Con over the summer, and Linda, one of the things that you had said was that you never forget the first thing that really scared you. So I'm curious whether it's a legend like La Llorona or a scary movie. Do you all remember the very first thing that scared you as a kid?
I used to hear that there was a man that was a very hairy man. And I remember, I was probably like 6 years old. I went into my bed and I felt the feet of this man. I ran out of my bed. And ever since, I cannot ever sleep with my feet outside the sheets. No.
As a child, I was frightened by La Llorona, the story of her. That was the first thing. Because everyone in our community, even in the Latin community, everyone believes in her.
Yeah.
So you don't just hear it from your family, you hear it from your friends, from your cousins, from everyone around. Everyone's talking about her. So this is very frightening. And to be a part of the film is amazing.
I had a closet door in my bedroom growing up, and it kind of had this trick to it that it wouldn't close properly. You had to like kind of jimmy it, so like it would always drift open just like a couple inches, and it was so unnerving, and it was literally terrifying. And I would always try and muster the strength to close it, but sometimes I just leave it open because I was too terrified to get out of bed to close it.
Oh my gosh!
But I think about that often.
I was afraid of everything. I hated sleeping by myself. I always wanted to be with like my brother or my sister. Like I wanted to be like near people. And I came from a big family, so that wasn't hard. But I remember that my brother would just scare me at every turn because I was such a chicken. He would just jump out of everywhere and scare me. And in the middle of the night, like bang on the door, and yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's gonna keep you up for a while, I imagine. I wanted to ask you about your early conversations with James here, because one of the interesting things I found with the movie, now that I've actually seen it, is you've got your own style here, but I see you tapping into a lot of the things that I know and love from, let's say, The Conjuring, like one of those opening shots where you're tracking through the house. So what was your initial conversations with him like, and did he give you any pointers?
First of all, so many pointers. Honestly, James, I've been a huge fan of James Wan, and to work with him was just incredible. And he's such a big supporter, such a great ally, and such just like a lover of not just horror movies, but like lover of movies. Interesting, the one shot, part of the idea was to kind of a nod to the Conjuring universe. Not saying that this falls into the Conjuring universe. If it did, that would be awesome. It would be something that audiences could discover.
So we're not talking about Father Perez right now? He's on the IMDb page.
Yeah, he is on the IMDb. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's something to discover. Well, is it the same Father Perez? I don't know.
Okay.
It's a good question. Audiences need to go to the theater and answer that question themselves. But that was definitely a nod. And it's actually funny because the idea of that one shot, it's definitely a James Wan trademark. The idea came from Walt Hamada, who is is one of the executives on this, and now he's running DC Films. He is a very smart guy. He really was masterminded this whole project from the beginning. And it was his idea, and one of the great things about it, that what he said, and I think it's the reason James puts it in his movies, is when you're spending that much time in a scary movie in one location, it's really important to orient people with the geography. And it's funny because you even see that technique in like video games sometimes, where they'll do like a fly through of the level or something that kind of orients you about like where everything's laid out, because geography is so important. I think engaging everyone in what's where is it's like you're laying out the chessboard, and this is like these are all the things we're going to be messing with. Let's see what happens.
Okay, I want to embarrass you a little bit because big deal. This guy right here is directing the third Conjuring movie. We're going to be hearing your name for quite a while right now. So I was curious, for the three of you, can you tell me one thing that Michael did as a director here that you've never experienced before that maybe brought something out of you that you didn't expect?
Enthusiasm. I think, he's a true leader, but his enthusiasm is so contagious, you cannot help but wanting to be a part of it, by far.
I think he's one of the most collaborative people. You know, there were a lot of us and a lot of opinions and a lot of like true life stories that people had about La Llorona, and like the idea that he would incorporate people's ideas and be so open to it, especially with your first film where people are so nervous and just, you know, people can be rigid because of that. He had none of that.
Yeah.
And that he loves and really cares about this movie. That was just great. That was one of the best things.
Another shout out I want to give right now, because again, my mind goes back to The Conjuring, and with Joe Bishara playing Bathsheba, and that is, I feel like the unsung hero of this movie is going to wind up being the actor who played La Llorona. So can you guys tell me a little bit about working with her?
She's dead.
She's fantastic.
Marisol Ramirez. Her name's Marisol Ramirez.
Fantastic. I remember when you showed me a picture of her, I was like, she's so beautiful. How's she going to be this? And she could not have been a more perfect partner for all of us. She was such a good sport, because to be in that makeup, and it took a long time to get into that makeup, it was very unforgiving, and she would stay in it. She had to be wet a lot of the time. She's a beautiful sense of humor. She's a great actress, and
Wonderful
you actually get to
actress.
see her, you know, I don't want to spoil anything, but you actually get to see her go through so much. And if it weren't for her and the way that she handled us and the way that she handled the children and the way that we were able to play against a real person and not something that was computer generated, the movie would have been a completely different experience.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
She was okay.